Hi dear friends and subscribers, welcome to the Cricket Happening show today. Thank you very much for your patience, dear friends and subscribers. As I know you have been waiting for my cricket show to come up. As you know, on Saturday I do my cricket show a bit late, as you all know. As far as this cricket show is concerned, I will be starting off with the third one-day international between West Indies and Pakistan. What a match it was. It went into a tie, and the series is still level on 1-1. Tomorrow is the fourth one-day international, which is going to be played at St. Lucia. But what a match we had, where the West Indian tailenders, Jason Holder and Kemar Roach, took them to victory. And probably one would have never expected that, because 15 runs required of the last over, with Kemar Roach and Jason Holder at the crease, and Wahab Raiz was given the ball. And one would have never even expected that the West Indian tailenders, would actually bring up a victory and thus level the series, not level the series, in fact get the match into a tie. What a match! In fact, I would say the Pakistan would have never expected that. So just let's look at what really happened there. But what I'm going to do is I'm only going to talk about the last over. So 15 runs were required. The West Indians scored at 215 for 9. They required 230 to win the match, because Pakistan made 229 of their 50 overs. This was the third one-day international, and Wahab Raiz was the bowler. 15 runs, and nobody would have expected that West Indies would take this match into a tie. And this is what happened. The first ball that Wahab Raiz bowled to Holder, it was a close delivery. But it was really, got an outside edge. Third man actually came into the picture, and Kemar Roach came on to strike. And Kemar Roach, the next ball that Wahab Raiz bowled, the second delivery, there was just a single. So 2 balls and 2 singles, and still 13 runs to go of just 4 deliveries. And look at Holder. Holder, what he did, he trusted himself. The ball was pitched up to him. Holder took it, and he just gave himself room and drove it past cover for a boundary. So that once again put the pressure on Pakistan. The fourth ball, Wahab Raiz bowled to Holder, was a dot delivery, as it was a swing and a miss delivery. And the fifth delivery, and now the equation came to 9 runs required in 2 balls, and Jason Holder of the 5th ball uncorking a beautiful shot. Striking Wahab Raiz over cover for a 6. What a stupendous shot that was under the circumstances. And one could see Dave Watmore was really in the dressing. One could see Dave Watmore really getting absolutely flustered. And why not? Wahab Raiz was sent over the wickets, and that was a 6. And then it required 3 runs, and Wahab Raiz was the bowler, the final delivery to be bowled. And West Indies had only 1 wicket. Remember that. They were 227 for 9, and they required 3 runs. And Holder once again swung at the last delivery, which was bowled. It went to third man. It was a lot of harakiri was committed. There was a lot of pressure on the Pakistani fielders. Junaid collected it. Akmal, the wicketkeeper, muffing it, and then finally it was a very, very bad throw. Probably Junaid, the Junaid Khan, was under tremendous pressure, actually threw the ball directly at Akmal, and Akmal could have collected it cleanly. Then probably Pakistan would have won it. But unfortunately, it was not the case. It was a poor throw, and it resulted in Pakistan and West Indies tying the match. But real credit to the West Indies tailenders for doing that to Pakistan. But as I said, this one-day series is getting more and more exciting. As I said, tomorrow is the 4th one-day international coming up. The series is still level at 1-1. I can't really miss it, because West Indies and Pakistan, I suppose this series is really getting absolutely exciting. It's really, really getting exciting. And as far as this particular match was concerned, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the scorecard now to just give you a glimpse of what really happened. I'm not going to go into detail, because I just wanted to cover the main part of it, and this was the last over. So Pakistan were the ones who actually batted first, making 229 for 6 wickets, which I really spoke about, and then 75 coming from Misbah ul Haq, Umar Akmal making 40. This is what I talked to you about when I gave you the live cricket update, dear friends and subscribers. And for West Indies, well, the highest scorer was Landy Simmons, who was really leading the charge, along with Marlon Samuels, who made 46 of 106 balls with 4 fours, 75 coming from Landy Simmons for 86 balls, 7 fours and 2 sixes. But let me tell you, some good contributions coming in, some real cameo contributions, which was absolutely needed. Darren Sammy smoking 10 runs for 5 deliveries, 1 6. Sunil Narine played a good hand. In 1 over of Saeed Ajmal, he took 14 runs by cracking a 6 and a 4. And I mean all the strokes that Sunil Narine played was 2 boundaries and a 6 of a Saeed Ajmal over. And in the same over, he was clean bowled by Saeed Ajmal. And then Jason Holder in the last over, along with Kemar Roach, who was cool as a cucumber there, and Jason Holder being not out on 19 of just 9 deliveries with 1 4 and 1 6. What a knock from Jason Holder. And well, I'm not going to go into the bowling figures because absolutely futile. I just wanted to bring you down to the excitement, and dear friends and subscribers, just to say what really happened. I know you all know, but my cricket show is all about talking about cricket. So basically, I know it's all done and dusted. The match was over yesterday. It doesn't really, I don't really mind. I just want to recreate that. So that's the precise reason. And this is done only for my dear friends and subscribers. Well, now I'm going to shift the attention. Now we are going on to the today's date. That is on the July the 20th. What happened? July the 20th. The first thing, there were 2 matches which were played. First was the start of the one-day series between Sri Lanka and South Africa in Sri Lanka, the first one-day international, and the home team Sri Lanka went on to a marvelous victory. In fact, they had a very high-scoring victory by Sri Lanka making 320 for 5 after batting first. And the feature of this particular game for Sri Lanka was the batting of Kumar Sangakarras. What a knock it was. I mean, if you look at the knock, he made 169 runs of 137 deliveries with 18 fours and 6 sixes. And his last 100, I mean, if you look at that, what he did, he scored tons of runs. Probably the last 50 runs or the 69 runs that he scored was just of some probably 46 balls. So it was such stupendous stuff. In the last the 10 overs, if you look at this particular scorecard, you will see that Sangakarras was the shining light in this particular game. And what a knock it was. I mean, Kumar Sangakarras is normally not so aggressive. He definitely is aggressive, but not to the extent that he was today. Yes, definitely we saw that South Africa were missing the likes of Dale Steyn, no doubt about it. But the other bowlers couldn't really capitalize, in the sense they couldn't really do something. They couldn't stop Sangakarras, and Sangakarras went making merry, making 169, which was the highest score by a Sri Lankan batsman in Sri Lanka, I was told, in a one-day international. 169 of 137 deliveries, 18 fours and 6 sixes. Ably supported with Upul Tharanga making 43 of 64 balls with 7 fours, and then Mahela Jayawardene chipped in with 42 of 51 balls with 4 fours. Tisra Pereira towards the end chiming in with 16 of 7 deliveries, an unbeaten 16 at that, of 7 deliveries with 2 fours and 1 6. And the last 10 overs for Sri Lanka realizing 103 runs. And Sri Lanka started off on a great note in this one-day international series by making 320 for 5. The bowling figures, well, Moni Morkel was absolutely good. 10 overs, 2 minutes, 2 for 34 for him. Other than that, Chris Morris came in for some heavy beating from Kumar Sangakarras' bat. 9 overs, no maiden, 1 for 80. 1 for 69 for McLaren. The spinners also came in for some tap. Aaron Fungiso realized how tough it is to be in international cricket. 9 overs, 1 for 50 for him. As far as South Africa were concerned, they surrendered absolutely meekly. There was absolutely no challenge from the South Africans. They were all out for 140. Lasith Malinga started it all with the first delivery. The first delivery of the South African innings. Colin Ingram was gone as a Yorker length delivery from for a swinging delivery from Lasith Malinga. Going and knocking the stumps of Colin Ingram, the opener, for a duck. After that, there was nothing that to really talk about. The only thing that the highest scorer was Alvaro Peterson, and a joint highest scorer was Robin Peterson and Alvaro Peterson's with 29 respectively. and other than that, there's nothing to talk about. Dominic was out for 15. The captain, A.B. de Villiers, was out for 23. It was a very good team effort from the Sri Lankans. As I said, the pressure really started building on the Sri Lankans with the huge score staring at them of 320, and they surrendered meekly, being all out for 140. And as far as the bowling was concerned, Malinga started it all, 4 overs, 1 minute, 1 for 21. Eranga, 5 overs, 1 for 27. Thisra Pereira bowled superbly, 3 for 31 for 7. The spinners came into the equation too, 8.5 overs, 1 maiden, 25 runs on 3 wickets for Rangana headed the left-arm spinner. Tilgan Radam off spinner, 5 overs, no maiden, 2 for 11. And Sri Lanka lead the 5-match series 1-0 with Kumar Sangakarras of Sri Lanka playing a stupendous knock to make 169 and take the Man of the Match award. Now, without any further ado, I have to shift the attention here because time is a real constraint in this YouTube broadcast, as I have to look at the Ashes Test Series. And the only thing that I would like to talk about the Ashes Test Series right now is that Australia right now are in an England right now are absolutely in the driver's seat. They are in an impregnable position going on to day 4, with England leading by 566 runs with 5 wickets remaining. The feature of the day was Joe Root. What a knock it was. He became the youngest Englishman to score a century in an Ashes Test. What a stupendous performance. He's still there unconquered on 178 not out. Also, we were told that Joe Root also got the very proud distinction of being the first Englishman in this particular season in 2013 to go past the 1,000 mark. And you know, he has been in some prolific form in the English county season, and that really reflected today. And one was thinking whether this was the right decision by England to actually have Joe Root as an opener, because as you know, he has been failing in 3 innings now, starting from the first test. And here comes Joe Root showing absolute application, playing very well off the back foot and the front foot, unveiling all his strokes. And what a knock it was. He tamed all the pace bowlers. I mean, it was a very a knock full of dedication and application. And this is going to go a long way for Joe Root to cement his place in this English cricket team. And let me tell you, he's still unconquered on 178 of 334 deliveries. He had 18 fours and 2 sixes in that knock. What a knock that was. He got admirable company from Tim Bresnan, his Yorkshire man, night watchman, making 38, and Tim Bresnan also played a good role. Initially, he didn't take any risks. He really decided to stay put at the crease and give good support to Joe Root. In fact, they wore out the Australian bowlers, and then once the Australian bowlers were worn out, Joe Root and Tim Bresnan started playing his strokes. And Bresnan also showing what a good all-rounder he is. Not only as he came as a night watchman, but he played a very good knock, giving good support to Joe Root, contributing 38 with 4 boundaries. Ian Bell also contributed in a very fine fashion, and Ian Bell and Joe Root also combined into a big partnership. From 129 for 4, the score swelled to 282 thanks to the more than 150 run partnership between Joe Root and Ian Bell. Ian Bell's contribution 74 with 11 fours. Jonathan Bairstow at the close of play, when England ended at 333 for 5, he was not out on 11. But Joe Root's knock really, what to say. I mean, it is what a knock that was from Joe Root. I mean, there are absolutely no words to describe application, dedication, the way he used to play his strokes, all the strokes. I mean, you name it. I mean, whether it was of the back foot or of the front foot. And the Australian, I'm sure the Australians at the end of the day, one saw all the Australian fielders, showing good spirit by actually congratulating Joe Root on his walk back to the pavilion. And Ryan Harris was absolutely listless today, even though he bowled economically. That was not wanted, and he couldn't get amongst the wickets. Peter Siddle, he couldn't take any wickets today. There were only 2 wickets that fell yesterday. They resumed at 31 for 3 and they had 300 runs on this day. And Joe Root has to be really commended for this performance. What a player he's turning out to be. I mean, I'm sure he's going to take the place of some of those experienced blokes, like probably Ian Bell is going to retire. And I think, as and when he retires, I think Joe Root would be a sort of a Ian Bell for England. The way he has played, one only wishes that tomorrow we see Joe Root getting to his maiden double century. He truly deserves that. But let me tell you, Australia looked to be absolutely out of this test match. 566 runs in the lead. 3 wickets for 65 for Siddle, Pattinson and Smith getting 1 wicket apiece. Nothing to really talk about. It was all Joe Root all the way. And what a knock from him. I mean, he's just 20 years old, I suppose. One really, you know, can sing pains of praise for this wonderful knock which has been played by this youngster Joe Root. What a batsman he's turning out for England. And not only that, the way he has really stood up there, taken the challenge, wearing off the Australian bowlers in the morning, and then slowly opening up, playing his stroke, but really not really, even though he was, I know it was a very difficult task for a batsman to really stay the whole day and be, one knows that an youngster has lots of stamina, one can go the distance, but still one has to really commend the role Joe Root has played. And looks like Australia would be out of this game for the simple reason that we are seeing some uneven bounce, and you know what the English seamers can do, and besides we also know what the the spinners from England can do. And I think Australia, I can very safely say with 2 days to go, we are probably going to have a declaration tomorrow, probably after lunchtime, and Australians would be set a target. And it requires a really Herculean task for Australia to go on and win the match, or even save the match for that matter. Well, it all looks like England are going to be 2 up in this series. Well, dear fans, friends and subscribers, I hope you all liked my cricket happening. So I know it was not in greater detail, but since I had to look at 3 matches, this is the best that I could do. Thanks for your company, and thanks for your absolute support to this cricket happening show. Your host Ram is ending the show today, but tomorrow your host Ram will once again be there to give you the full details of the 4 days play in the Ashes Test match. And also we will look at the 4th One Day International which is going to be played between West Indies and Pakistan at St. Lucia once again. Until then, it's good night. Thank you.